sa ilalim ng concrete. Sila ang concrete.
I'll go ahead and use the microphone. There's quite a few people here. Once again, my name is Lee. I'll be your tour guide for 2 stops. This one, I'll tell you how they built the dam. On the next one, I'll tell you how they operate the powerhouse. Now, you're standing on the floor. You feel that nice vibration? It feels kind of nice, doesn't it? Well, that happens all day long. That's water running through a penstock pipe that you're standing on top of. And sometime on this tour, if they start up another generator, this room will start rocking and rolling like something at Disneyland. So as long as I'm not running through the door, don't worry about it. Okay? You don't need to be running out of here in front of me. All right. Before you can build a dam anywhere in a river, you have to divert the water out of the river to give you a dry place to build. And here at Hoover Dam, they built diversion tunnels. There are 4 of these things, and each one's about 3/4 of a mile long, blasted on a solid volcanic rock, and they spent 2 years digging and blasting those tunnels. When they finished, they still had water in the river, but they had to get the water into those tunnels. The best way to do that is build something called the coffer dam. This is 100 feet tall, made out of rock and dirt. You dump enough rock in the middle of the river, eventually you're going to block it up, and when that happens, the water rises behind it and then flows through those tunnels. They spent a lot of time building. They built a lower coffer dam down here to prevent this water now from backing up into the construction site. Eventually, they removed the lower coffer dam, but that upper coffer dam is still at the bottom of the lake, and they left it down to catch all the silt coming down the river. With the coffer dams in place, they can start building Hoover Dam. We just saw the video. In that video, they showed you all that concrete was delivered in buckets, and it was. Each of those buckets held 16 tons of concrete. They delivered one of those buckets on average every 71 seconds. They did that day and night for 2 years straight. Once they started pouring concrete, they never stopped until the dam was completed. And during that time, they poured 2,300,000 buckets of concrete to complete the Hoover Dam itself. Now, while they're building the dam, there's a lot of other construction going on around, including 4 water intake towers. And these are the towers you see behind the dam sticking out of the lake feet. They look like some of these giant salt and pepper shakers. At the bottom of each of these things, there's a penstock pipe. That penstock pipe is 30 feet diameter, large enough to drive a train through. But it's just a water pipe. Water comes out of the lake just naturally. It flows down through the bottom of these penstock pipes, back through the mountain. Each one of these penstock pipes, when they're running like they are right now, is 96,000 gallons of water per second flowing through that pipe. That's enough water to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in a little over 6 seconds. Water coming down that large penstock pipe will branch off into a group of smaller ones. The base of each of these is a turbine. So the water comes out of the lake, down the penstock pipe, goes passing by that turbine that's traveling at 48 miles per hour when it hits that turbine, spins the turbine, the water goes back out into the river, ends up in Southern California someplace, or Western Arizona. Each of those turbines is attached to a generator, because the turbine spins, it spins the generator. Generator spins, that's generating electricity. That's what we talk about our next stop. All right, you are standing in one of those water diversion tunnels. If you look up, you see this concrete lining. It's 3 feet thick. It was placed there to prevent the water from actually rubbing up against the rocks, because when you just destroy the rock. And we had water up to about this elevation, somewhere around 40 feet up above where we're standing right now. We had water up that high for about 2 years, where they were running water down through these tunnels. Eventually, they blocked them all by putting a big steel plug, a concrete plug off in that direction. You can't see it here. It's about 100 feet back up there. So this thing right here, you see, sorry, once they put that plug in there, drained all the water out of here, that's when they added in everything you see here now. This is all added in starting in 1937. All right. Look out the window on this side, look straight down, you see that huge pipe down there. That is the penstock pipe with all that water passing through it. The pipe by the overhead up here is an air vent. That's what keeps all the air running down to these inside these tunnels inside the dam. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to tell you about that they built here. Well, first of all, I haven't got that far yet. We're right here. We're in this diversion tunnel, Nevada side, lower diversion tunnel. And when we leave here, we're going to get back on that elevator. We'll go up about 5-second elevator ride. Make a walk down this walkway right here. You'll end up on the balcony overlooking the 8 generators of the Nevada side of the Hoover Dam power plant. That's what's going on in there. We are not going over the Arizona side. There's 9 more generators over there, but once you've seen one generator, believe me, you've seen them all. For those of you on the dam tour, when I release you up on the end of the second talk, you're going to walk inside the dam with JR. It's almost at 350 feet. You're going to go straight inside the dam, and about where this first one of the 2 narrow lines is, that's the actual roadway up on the top side. That's about where you'll be when you're with JR inside the dam. Okay. Now, the last thing I'll point out are these 2 spillways on either side of the lake. Now, the dam itself, we will not allow water to flow over it. We don't want to destroy the power plant. So if the lake ever fills up, the water runs into the spillway, down the spillway tunnel, back out into the river. Now, we've used those spillways only twice since they built them. The first time was just a test in 1941, just to see if they would work. The only other time we used them was 1983. For 2 years in a row, 82 and 83, they had a lot of snow up in the western Rockies and never melted. Very cold winters, very cold summer in between. March of 83 rolls around, you got warm up there, melted all that snow in about 3 weeks. Where'd all that water go? Well, Great Salt Lake overflowed. Downtown Salt Lake City had 5 feet of water in it. Every lake, floating pond, river, and everything else in part of the country was full of water. What was left over ended up where? Lake Mead, 1983, right here. This is the lake. This up here is the back side of the dam. The white line is on top there. Now the surface of the lake is 6 feet. That white line you see is the wall that goes around the roadway. So if you're standing on top of the dam later on, look over the edge, there's that concrete wall. 6 feet below the top of that wall is how high the water was. All right? This is the Nevada spillway. You can take a walk out there later and check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a big hole in the ground. It hasn't had any water since 1983. In this photograph, there's 7 feet of water flowing over the top of the spillway. That's the same amount of water that normally flows over Niagara Falls. Same thing's happening on the Arizona side, you just don't see it in this photograph. All that water went over those 2 spillways for 62 days straight. All of that water was, for the most part, lost, because once it went over our spillway, the holding lakes downriver were already full. They just had to keep sending it further down, further down, further down, further down. And most of it ended up either back in the ocean or in the desert lands of Southern California, where it created a lake 100 miles wide and about 4 feet deep. All that land out there. Okay? One other thing I'll point out before we leave here. You see, if you haven't seen it, you will see it. The white line goes around the top of the lake. That white line you see, calcium carbonate, that's from the water that's been up high. The top of the white line is the 1983 flood line. That's how high the water was. Today, the top of that white line down to the surface of the lake itself is 181 feet. That's how low the lake is. Last time it was low. This low was in March 1935 when they filled it the first time. We are 22 years into a drought out here, and the lake just drops year after year after year. So when you go home and you look at the newspaper articles and the TV that shows that white line around the lake, looks like about 3 inches, right? On your TV screen, that's 181 feet. All right, so just wait here until I get to the doorway. I'm going to lead you back out. I'm going to put you in 2 elevators so if I manage to separate you from your family or your friends. Don't despair. Hold on, folks. Don't despair. Both elevators go to the same place. You may be separated for 7 seconds, so enjoy the time.